What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Wednesday episode where we talk all things short-term rental news. Welcome back, everyone. So in this week's episode, what I want to talk about is another Bigger Pockets article that I wrote. This was back in June 27th, but I'm going to switch over here real quick. So the name of the article is 3 Tools That Will Help You Automate Your Short-Term Rental Business. And again, I wrote this on Bigger Pockets. If you guys don't know what Bigger Pockets is, it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, real estate forums in the United States. And I'm a writer for their short-term rental content. So I start by just talking about saying when I was running a business, automation and delegation can make your life easier and amplify your success. This is even truer when it comes to the real estate industry. If you're in the short-term rental business, you might have realized by now that short-term rentals are one of the most management-intensive real estate classes. And I just go on to talk about the different tools and the different things and the different categories you should be focused on when it comes to automation. And I'm actually going to be doing a deep dive into each one of these. But the first thing is automated messaging. So automated messages, when it comes to the different online travel agencies, at the end of the day, they're just search engines. And outside of keywords, their algorithm actually rewards specific behaviors. One of those behaviors is going to be how quickly you respond to your guests. And the quicker you respond to a guest, the higher your account is placed in the search results. So I use a tool called Hospitable. I've done a complete walkthrough of Hospitable if you guys want to watch that video. But Hospitable starts at $25 a month, and it completely automates all your messaging, whether it be your guests checking in. Before their check-in, you can send them their code, check up on them. And one of the really cool things that I actually like is automated reviews. So what it is as long as the guest did a good job, again, I don't try to nitpick and find things where I can like knock guests like 4 stars, 3 stars. I rate most of my guests 5 stars, unless if there was a very big issue. And one of the things that honestly can get pretty intensive when you start building out your short-term rental business is the fact that you have to review all the people. Airbnb likes it when you review all the people that have stayed with you. Same thing, they reward them if they review your property. So reviewing people tends to get some pretty tedious. So what Hospitable can do for you is you can put like 5 templates, like 5 review templates, all at 5 stars. And then what Hospitable does, it'll pull one and it will like essentially pull one, and that becomes the review for the guest, which is super, super helpful. After automated messaging, what I recommend doing is getting into dynamic pricing. And for what you guys, for everyone that doesn't know what dynamic pricing is, it's essentially it is essential at this point if you own it or operate a short-term rental. And what it does is it automatically changes the pricing based off of what the market is currently doing. I know Airbnb and VRBO have their own tools on this. But I use a tool called Price Labs, and I'll be doing a separate walkthrough on Price Labs because it's a very effective tool. But you essentially set a base price, which they show you how to do. You set a floor to your price, essentially like the minimum amount you want your property to be rented at. And I don't really recommend setting a ceiling to your rates. And what it does is at midnight or whatever time you set it at, it automatically adjusts your pricing, and you can add some really cool, they call them rules. You can add some really cool rules where it says, like for me, if you're 2 weeks out or 3 months out, it like aggressively starts discounting the days until they book, which I have found very powerful. Like we have Price Labs in our 14 person log cabin, and it has completely skyrocketed the amount of bookings we have gotten just based off of that, compared to my A-frame, which took me, I finally got it onto Price Labs, but it took me a little bit longer, and I probably could have booked up more days if I was using a dynamic pricing tool. And the last thing, which honestly doesn't get enough attention, is a digital guidebook. So what a digital guidebook is going to be is, and I started to talk about my wife and I recently took a trip to Tulum Beach, Mexico. And when we checked into the resort that we had booked, the front desk agent essentially sent us a link for 4 days worth of activities. And we absolutely love that. And I wanted to see how to apply that to my short-term rental business. So I asked myself, how can I become my guest travel agent without really spending too much money, and how can I automate the whole process? And that's sort of where the digital guidebook had come in. A digital guidebook is a link that you can send your guests that provides information, essentially like a short itinerary of what they can do during their stay. What I suggest doing is like finding like 3 or 4 attractions in your area and then making a daily schedule out of each one of those. For instance, here in Asheville, North Carolina, Asheville is really known for like breweries, hiking trails, and restaurants. And I have 3 separate days that are planned around those things. And then the guests can sort of like pick and choose based off of those 3 separate days if they want to do different things here and there, and then fill in the gaps. The digital guidebook I use is Hostfully, but there are a ton of platforms out there. And then from there, what I do is I take the digital guidebook link and I put it into my automated messaging. And that way, it's completely hands off. You set it once and you practically forget it, because based on just the little things might change. Like there might be a closer hiking trail to each one of your properties, but once you create a digital guidebook for your entire market or your entire city, which is what I recommend doing, it's sort of set it and forget it after that. You plug it into the automated messaging and sort of forget about it. Those are essentially the 3 tools that I like to use. Automated messaging is going to be number 1. I like to use Hospitable. Dynamic pricing is going to be number 2, and I like to use Price Labs. And number 3 is going to be a digital guidebook, and I like to use Hostfully's digital guidebook. All in all, together, those total, I think, cost about $50 a month extra. That adds to your operating expenses. But what they achieve, like the messaging itself, I consider that like an employee. So just the messaging alone, like that, it gets rid of people that you have to hire to take care of that stuff. And then if you're doing it yourself, it sort of frees up your time as well. So again, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm gonna hop over here. Again, I'm trying to do these every Wednesday, just going through some short-term rental news that's happening. I'm starting with my Bigger Pockets posts, because I write a Bigger Pockets post like once every 2 weeks for them. So once I sort of run out of those, what I'm going to be doing is like reviewing some just short-term rental news that's happening like today. So hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos. Stay tuned for my Friday video that's coming up, and I will see everyone next week. Thanks.